I always like getting new stuff for the car. So now that I've gone full bolt on and done some dyno stuff, really the next mechanical project I have is the hybrid turbos. But prior to that, I wanted to do some ethanol testing. And we got a station around here, has some E85, but when you go to the pump and look at it, it says contains no less than 70% ethanol. So I guess you're getting a 70 to 85% range of what your ethanol content could be. I'm initially wanting to start out with about a 30% blend and see if some of the ignition retard I'm getting due to knock detection gets knocked out. And then do, I don't know if, do some road runs, see if there's a performance improvement, look at the logs, see if I can tell that I'm getting less ignition retard off that. And, play 30, 50, and then maybe a little higher than that. I don't know that I'm really wanting to go more than a 50-50 blend, but on my phone, made a little calculator with a numbers spreadsheet that I can go in and put the number E85 gallons, the actual percentage of ethanol within that, and then the number of pump tank gallons, which I believe it's 15.8 gallons in our tank. So my plan was put a known amount of the E85 and need to know the actual ethanol content in it, and then it should give me a final ethanol percentage. And I'm pretty sure the percentage calculator is pretty right. As far as the octanes and stuff down here might be a little off, but if we look at that based on whether this is as the pump says, a minimum of 70%, if I put 5.5 gallons of that tank in, would be a 30.6% ethanol content, and if it was actually full E85, would bring it up to 35%. I know 5% isn't a huge difference, but as you're maybe figuring, I'm a little OCD, but it can be a couple octane and stuff like that. So with that in mind, I saw on the Fuel It website that they do have the ethanol test kit. Basically, and this is kind of tight to open, nice secure little box, but so the actual container that this kit is, you can store it in your trunk and stuff like that, is meant so you can actually pour a little ethanol in. Well, let's talk about the concept first. It comes with everything it comes with. Got two testers, two little, I don't know if you want to call them syringes, but bulbs for kind of like a little baster thing for adding the fluid to that, and some information on their app and the directions. But just from my understanding right now, and having not used it, which I'm getting ready to shortly, ethanol absorbs water and gasoline repels it. So you fill up to this water line, and I'm sorry if the lighting's not good in here, but there's a little line right here that's water. So, out of a water bottle or something like that, you fill that up. Then get a little bit of the ethanol, and whether you put it in a cup or this container, and add the rest up to the fuel line with fuel, shake, let it settle out, and the cloudy part will be the ethanol content. So the numbers on the front, you'll see one half faces one way, one faces the other, but basically through the magnification of fluid, if you turn it backwards, it'll show the actual ethanol content of what you're putting in your tank, or if you already have fuel in your tank and you got a sample out of it, you could see it. So I want to go do that here when I fill up, see what the actual content of ethanol is of what I'm getting at the pump. I can throw that into my calculator, and then, so if it's basically a lower ethanol content, I'll put 5.5 gallons. If it happens to be full E85, I'll drop that down just a little less ethanol and a little bit more fuel until I get the right at about 30%. So I mean, it looks like basically about a gallon difference if you were getting E70 at the pump, or actually 70% ethanol as opposed to E85. So if it was actually pure, you know, full 85% ethanol coming out of the E85 spigot, we'd go 4.5 gallons, and it looked like I was dealing with about 5.5 gallons of it if it's at 70%. So anyway, cool. Looking forward to doing it. The kit comes with, again, the actual container for keeping it in your vehicle. Comes with 2 testers, 2 of the little, you know, things that you can suck out, or I guess you could probably just pour it in and be easiest, but I imagine that's just be a little bit more precise with adding the fuel in. A microfiber cloth for wiping stuff down afterwards, and courtesy of a couple rubber gloves for you to, you know, you're going to be handling fuel, and there obviously some potential hazards come with that. Anyway, fuelit.com has that. Put a link in the description below, and I'll have another video actually, or maybe paste it at the end of this one. I don't know. Either way, I'll either have another video or show you here shortly how it works out. My question, actually, I guess the biggest one right now, is how long is it going to take for the fuel to settle out, you know, and for it to actually separate? Because if I'm going to be sitting at the pump for like 20 or 30 minutes for that to happen, might be a little bit of a pain. But anyway, we'll find out. Thanks. All right, so I'm over at my local Valero gas station where they have E85. So I got my Fuelit tester kit, and I'm going to see exactly what we're dealing with here. So I already put the water into the water line, and from science class, and remember that you're supposed to put the bottom of the connector, or the meniscus, where the line is. So now I'm going to put a little E85 in this container here, and I'm just going to go ahead and fill this the rest of the way up. To the fuel line. Might have been faster to pour it in until I got close and then level it off. It'll last a little bit, but we're almost there. So a couple more drops. Somebody else just left here getting some ethanol. So that's at the fuel line. So now I'm going to shake it. Put the lid on first, obviously. Shake. And let's see. Call that just gonna see how long it takes for it to settle out here. If that's in view or not. It's already doing it pretty well. Yeah, okay, so I mean 15, 20, 30 seconds. And I'm already getting a clear spot. So if when we look, turn to the back where it magnifies the numbers, looks like it's just under 80. I'd call that maybe a 75. Bar, if I can get it on something flat, I'm not shaking around. So I call it 70. I mean, it's right under the 80 line if we go off the line. So I'm gonna call that like 79%. Not bad. All right, so I want to put those numbers in my little E85 calculator or ethanol calculator I came up with, and it should get me probably about 5 gallons per tank of gas. Should get me about a 30% ethanol blend. But that's pretty cool. I wasn't sure how long that was going to take to settle out, but you can see where the cloudy portion up to that point designates ethanol content. Turn around from behind, this little Fuelit thing has I guess laser etch engraving, but you can see it kind of magnifies the numbers. Hope you can see. But all in all, it's a pretty cool setup. So now I've got some accurate numbers to work with, so super sweet.